Despite months of preparation and a massive military buildup, the US admits it cannot fully shield Israel from Iranian attacks. The Trump administration urges all Americans in the Middle East, including those in Israel, to leave immediately as tensions rise. As the death toll among US soldiers grows, questions emerge over whether Trump now regrets the decision to go to war with Iran. On March 2nd, the US State Department issued a sweeping and urgent advisory, urging all American citizens to immediately depart from more than a dozen nations across the Middle East amid rapidly worsening conditions. The size and precision of Iran's coordinated strikes made clear that even advanced US defense systems and deployed forces could not completely shield Israeli skies from incoming attacks. As airports closed and regional airspace was sealed off, thousands of Americans found themselves stranded and desperately searched for any possible route out of the conflict zone. The US emergency alert reached across Israel, the West Bank, Gaza, and several nearby allied nations, signaling the growing danger spreading throughout the entire region. In a rare move, Washington permitted non-essential American diplomats and their families to leave Israel voluntarily, as fears over their safety and potential attacks continued to rise. The US government's message was direct and urgent. All remaining citizens were strongly advised to leave immediately through commercial flights, before further escalation made travel impossible. US State Department in an advisory urged Americans to depart now using available commercial transport. Americans were asked to leave while commercial flights were still available without waiting for further developments. The advisory applies to Bahrain, Egypt, Iran, Iraq, Israel, the West Bank, Gaza, Jordan, Kuwait, Lebanon, Oman, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Syria, the UAE, and Yemen. The State Department framed the guidance as a response to serious, evolving safety risks after recent military developments. The US Secretary of State advised all American citizens in the Middle East to register under the government's Smart Traveler Enrollment Program, or STEP system, which allows officials to reach them in emergencies. However, no clear evacuation directive or timeline was provided. Marco Rubio called on Americans in the region to remain vigilant and rely on official communication channels for reliable information, urging them to track verified security updates through social media platforms and designated WhatsApp groups managed by US authorities.
At the Department of State, our number one priority is the safety and the security of American citizens everywhere in the world. Now, with what's going on in the Middle East with Operation Epic Fury and the cowardly attacks that we're seeing from Iran against Gulf countries, I wanted to take this chance to speak directly to Americans who are in the Middle East about the work we are doing to try to keep you safe. So immediately following the beginning of this operation, at my direction, the State Department activated a 24/7 task force, surging personnel and resources necessary to help provide American citizens with up-to-the-minute safety and security information. Now, in order to receive these updates from the nearest U.S. embassy or consulate, you have to register with the Smart Traveler Enrollment Program. You have to register with STEP, and here's where you do it. You go to step.state.gov. That's step.state.gov and register so we can reach you. We also encourage Americans abroad to follow our security updates for U.S. citizens channel on WhatsApp and follow @TravelGov on social media as well. The latest alerts are also available on travel.state.gov. That's our website, travel.state.gov. Finally, Americans in the Middle East, you can reach the Department of State 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at the following phone number: 1-202-501-4444. That's 1-202-501-4444.
Israel's Ben Gurion airport was completely shut after Iranian forces fired waves of missiles and drones toward the country, forcing officials to suspend nearly all civilian air traffic and lock down the skies for safety. Authorities at Israel's largest airport cautioned that even when operations resume, the airspace is expected to reopen only in a highly restricted and tightly controlled format, with very limited flights and strict security measures in place. On March 2nd, air raid sirens blared across Israel yet again as Iranian projectiles were detected, triggering air defense interceptors and sending millions of residents rushing back into shelters and safe rooms for protection. Within just 48 hours, Iran has launched hundreds of drones and missiles toward Israel and surrounding areas, causing damage to both civilian neighborhoods and important military facilities across multiple locations. Beyond striking Israel and targeting US bases and diplomatic sites, Iran has also hit American-aligned Arab partners and key regional energy infrastructure, widening the conflict's impact on allies and global markets alike. The US military has confirmed that 6 American service members have been killed in action since the Iran campaign began, highlighting the growing human cost as this confrontation continues. US forces have additionally recovered the remains of 2 personnel who were previously unaccounted for, found at a facility that was heavily damaged during the earliest waves of Iranian strikes in the operation. US Central Command says that major combat operations are still ongoing across several fronts in the region, and that casualty figures are expected to keep rising as the fighting and bombardments continue.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that we will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest news makers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the U.S. will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HT videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.